Welcome to Happy, Healthy, Whole, and Rich, where faith meets action and transformation is non-negotiable. I'm Tina Brinkley Potts, and I believe now is the time to step boldly into your power, walk in divine wisdom, and claim the life you were meant to live. Each episode, I'll bring you real, unfiltered truth, because this world needs leaders who refuse to shrink. Let's get it. Welcome back to Happy, Healthy, Whole, and Rich. I'm Tina Brinkley Potts, and I know who I play for. We're in the middle of our Standing in Your Power series, and today I want to give you something practical, something you can use in real time, the moment your mind starts spinning out. Because here's what I know about standing in your power. It doesn't mean nothing ever shakes you. It means you have a way back. It means you don't stay in the spin. Today I'm introducing you to something I've been using in my own life and with my coaching clients for years. And I'm finally giving it a name. It's called the DSP Method. DSP. Data, Story, Projection. And by the time this episode is over, you're going to hear your own thinking in a completely different way. I want to start in John 8:32. And you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Now, most of us have heard that scripture. We've put it on mugs, posted it on our walls, quoted it in hard moments. But I want you to sit with the first part today. You shall know the truth, not feel the truth, not assume the truth, not project the truth, but know it. Because so much of what steals our peace, what pulls us out of our power, isn't reality. It's the meaning we attach to reality. It's the story we build around what happened before we even stop to check what actually happened. The truth sets you free, but you have to find it first. That's what the DSP method is designed to do. Help you locate the truth so it can do its work. Let me tell you what happened to me last week. I picked up my phone, opened WhatsApp, and I was locked out. A message on the screen telling me my account had been flagged for violating terms of service. Now, I want you to understand something. WhatsApp is not casual for me. I manage a reggae and dancehall artist. I communicate with people around the world, team members, contacts, collaborators across time zones. It's a working tool. So when I saw that screen, my mind moved fast. Within seconds, and I mean seconds, I was already in a full narrative. Here we go again. This is just like Facebook. I can't catch a break with Meta. I detest everything about that company. And it built from there. The Facebook ad account ban I've been dealing with. Every frustration I ever had with that platform pulling the rug. I was already writing the ending to a story that hadn't even started yet. It took me about 5 minutes to work myself out of it. 5 minutes. Before I could slow down enough to ask a simple question. What do I actually know? And here's what I knew. What was true. What was the data. I was locked out of WhatsApp. That's it. That's all that happened. I wasn't doing anything outside of normal use. I was communicating with people around the world on behalf of an artist I manage. Nothing unusual, nothing that should have triggered a violation. So I appealed it, calmly, clearly, and moved on with my morning. But those 5 minutes, that spiral, that was all story and projection sitting on top of a data point. And I caught it because I have a tool. When Jesus said, "You shall know the truth," I believe he was also speaking to this. to the way we add layers onto what's real until we can no longer find the floor. We take one locked account and build a courtroom case against an entire company. We take one unanswered text and build a whole story about how someone feels about us. We take one slow month in business and decide it's evidence of something permanent. That is not truth. That is the very convincing story dressed as truth. And the reason it's so convincing is because it pulls from real experience, real pain, real history. Our stories have always a seed of something true in them, which is exactly what makes them so hard to question. But standing in your power requires that you learn to locate the floor, find the facts, and refuse to build your next move on the foundation that was never solid. Ernest Holmes, the founder of Science of the Mind, taught that we do not experience life as it is. We experience life as we are, meaning the lens you're looking through shapes what you see just as much as what's actually in front of you. That's not poetry. That's metaphysical law. When I was locked out of WhatsApp and went immediately into my meta story, I wasn't responding to what happened. I was responding to the lens I was already holding up. The lens that says that platform can't be trusted. The lens that said this is a pattern. The lens that grounds by every previous frustration I carried without fully putting down. Holmes also said that the law of mind is always working. It's never not working. It doesn't pause while you decide what to believe. It just keeps building in the direction of your dominant thought. So here's the danger. When you collapse data into story and story into projection without questioning any of it, you are not just processing an experience. You are programming your next one. You are feeding the law of mind a blueprint made of fear. And the law has no choice but to start building. Neville Goddard put it this way: change your conception of yourself, and you will automatically change the world in which you live. Your conception of yourself includes what you believe is happening to you. What you believe keeps happening to you. What you believe is about to happen to you. That's why separating data from story isn't just a mental health practice. It is a spiritual one. It is an act of stewardship over the creative power you've been given. Florence Scovel Shinn said, every great work, every big accomplishment has been brought into manifestation through holding to the vision. You cannot hold a vision and a fearful projection at the same time. One will crowd out the other. And whichever one you feed with your attention, that's the one that grows. The DSP method is how you stop feeding the wrong one. So let me break this down for you. The DSP method has 3 layers, and the work is learning to separate them. D is for data. Data is what actually happened, full stop. No interpretation, no backstory, no feelings attached. I was kicked out of WhatsApp. That's data. It is concrete. It is verifiable. If 10 people looked at my phone, they would all see the same thing. Data doesn't require anyone to agree with your interpretation because it has no interpretation. It just is. S is for story. Story is what you decide the data means. Here we go again with meta. They're out to get creators. This always happens to me. Story is personal. Story has history in it. Story pulls from everything you've experienced before and layers it onto what's happening now. Now, I'm not saying your story is always wrong. Sometimes it's insight. Sometimes your pattern recognition is dead on. But here's what you have to know about story. It is constructed. You built it, which means it can be examined and it can be wrong. P is projection. Projection is what you decide happens next. I'm about to lose this platform. I'm going to have to rebuild everything. This is going to derail my work. Projection lives in the future. It hasn't happened. It may never happen. But when we're in a spiral, projection feels like prophecy. It feels like we're being smart, being strategic, preparing ourselves. Most of the time, we're just suffering in advance. Here's the thing about all three layers. Data is the only one that's real right now. Story and projection are constructs. Useful sometimes, but dangerous when you mistake them for fact. So the next time you feel your mind spinning, I want you to stop and ask 3 questions. What do I know? That's the data. What does my mind say it means? That's your story. What am I afraid is going to happen? That's your projection. Separate them. Look at them as 3 different things. And then make your decision from the data. That's where your power is. Not in the story. Definitely not in the projection. In the truth. So take a breath. Get still for a moment. Think about something that's bothering you right now. It could be a relationship, a business situation, a decision you're sitting on with something that happened last week. Now let's run the DSP method on it. First, what are the facts? Not what you felt, not what you think it means, what literally happened, what you can see, confirm, and verify. Write that down separately. Strip out everything that isn't concrete. Second, what story have you built around it? Where did that story come from? Is it rooted in something that happened before? Is this situation actually new? Or are you reacting to something old? Be honest with yourself. Third, what are you projecting into the future? What are you afraid is going to happen? Is this evidence that points to that outcome? Or are you borrowing pain from a future that doesn't exist yet? Now sit with this. How much of your current stress is data? And how much of it is story and projection? And finally, if you operated only from the data right now, what would your next move actually be? Not the move driven by fear, not the move driven by a story from 5 years ago, the move that responds to what's actually true today. That's where your power is. That's where the clarity lives, right there in the data. So here's what I want you to carry out with you today. Your mind is powerful, extraordinarily powerful. And that same power can build vision and dream big and create from nothing. It can also spin out on a single data point and turn it into a 5-alarm fire. The DSP method doesn't stop the spin from starting. What it does is give you a way to catch it, to pause, to ask, is this data, story, or projection? Because once you can see the difference, you can choose. And choice is power. The truth shall make you free. But you have to be willing to find out. Even when the story feels more comfortable. Even when the projection feels like wisdom. Standing in your power means you operate from what's real. You respond to what actually happened. And you refuse to give your peace away to something that exists only in your own mind. You have the tool now. Use it. As always, in all ways, I know who I play for. Until the next time, be happy, be healthy, be whole, and most importantly, be rich in love, rich in peace, and rich in purpose. If this message spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it, live it, and let's grow together. Head over to happyhealthyWholeRich.com for more powerful teachings and join the movement. Remember, your breakthrough is waiting. You have to show up. Until the next time, stay happy, healthy, whole, and rich.